Granger clarifies there is no shakeup in Foreign Affairs Ministry. Guyana moves 2 places on UNDP Human Development Index and Natural Resources Fund closer to realization with signing of agreement. Stay with us for the next half an hour as we take you through major stories covered from December 7th to 13th. His Excellency President David Granger clarified that the reshuffling of diplomats within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was a planned change, as it is in keeping with his vision to professionalize the Foreign Service.
There's been no shake-up. At the start of my presidency, I had made it clear that the ambassadors who were being appointed would be there for only 3 years, and that it was my government's intention to professionalize the Foreign Service. That is to say, to reduce or remove political appointees and to allow career officers who had been recruited to become diplomats and had been trained and educated as diplomats to become diplomats.
The head of state was at the time responding to questions on the sidelines of an event hosted on Wednesday at the Ministry of the Presidency. He explained that many of the diplomats' contracts ended during the time when there were uncertainties about an election's date, but as soon as the date was announced, the decision was made.
So it is not a shake-up, it is a planned change, and the ambassadors and high commissioners knew that the intention of the government has always been to professionalize the service, and that is being done. It's a plan that has been laid down and understood by the people inside the Foreign Service and, of course, by the ambassadors and high commissioners themselves.
President Granger also explained his decision to remove Ambassador Audrey Jardine Waddell as Director General and appoint Charlene Phoenix as the ministry's permanent secretary.
Ambassador Waddell is one of the persons who have been earmarked for foreign posting. We have laid down certain criteria, and there are certain, for example, language qualification, and Ambassador Waddell speaks foreign languages, and that is one of the criteria that we laid down, that as far as possible, ambassadors and high commissioners should speak the language of the capital to which they are posted. So she is qualified for a higher post, and on vacating the post of Director General, it was my decision to appoint a permanent secretary who will continue the administration of the Foreign Service.
The president emphasized that it is in national interest that these changes were made.
Some major news. Guyana's overall ranking on the 2019 United Nations Development Programme's Human Development Index, HDI, has improved, moving from 125 in 2018 to 123 this year. The 2019 report is titled Beyond Income, Beyond Averages, Beyond Today, Inequalities in Human Development in the 21st Century, was released on Monday by the UNDP in Bogota, Colombia. Guyana showed overall improvement in several socio-economic areas, with 96% of the country's 744,000 population using improved drinking water sources, while 86% is using improved sanitation facilities. The Ghana Water Incorporation has made major strides over the past few years in providing potable water across the country, including first-time access in many hinterland and remote communities. The report also estimates the adult literacy rate to be 85.6%. Natural Resources Fund another step closer to realization as the Ministry of Finance and Bank of Guyana sign management agreement.
According to Finance Minister Winston Jordan, the MOU signed today between the Ministry and the Bank of Guyana is one more piece of evidence to bring accountability and transparency to the operations of the Natural Resources Fund.
We intend to make everything open and transparent as it relates to the Natural Resource Fund, and two, it gives me an opportunity to urge all who wish to write on the fund to read the Act, compare the Act with if they have any existing or NONAX, because very often reference is made to Norway, and when in fact our NRF in many respects is modeled after Norway, taking the good parts of Norway that we can use at this stage of our development, together with other parts as it relates to Chile, or if it's Uganda or so forth. We're trying to get the best of both worlds, given the stage of development at which we are at.
The Bank of Ghana will also prepare monthly, quarterly, and yearly reports as required by the Finance Minister. It will also meet all of the Natural Resource Fund's operating expenses, which will be compensated for from the fund. It will also implement management systems, procedures, and risk management arrangements while developing its human resources to ensure effective management. The Minister will also be advised of all significant events affecting the fund in any way. The Bank of Ghana will also provide members of the public with information on the fund as required by law. Dr. Ganga cautioned that sanctions can be brought against stakeholders in case of misconduct or acts of omission. The Minister will also provide with at least 5 working days' notice of written payment instructions to transfer accounts from the Natural Resources Fund to the Consolidated Fund. The role of the Bank of Ghana in the management of the Natural Resources Fund was explained by its governor, Dr. Gobind Ganga.
The Bank of Ghana shall be responsible for the daily operation of the fund, which shall include A. Investing the fund in eligible asset classes, B. Receiving deposits, making payments and accounting for all deposits into and withdrawal from the fund, maintain the books of account and records of all financial assets and liabilities of the fund, appointing and dismissing private managers, custodians, banking correspondents, dealers, brokers, and other financial intermediaries necessary for the proper operational management of the fund.
The formulation of the Natural Resources Fund is critical before Ghana sees first oil in a few months.
His Excellency President David Granger, delivering the feature address at the Cyril Potter College of Education's graduation ceremony on Friday, pledged his government's unwavering commitment to building an education nation.
Schools across the coast and hinterland come the new school term will have 377 newly trained teachers. These teachers hail from the Cyril Potter College of Education CPC East, Turkine campus in Region 4, the Rose Hall campus in Region 6, and the new Anna Regina campus in Region 2. His Excellency David Granger delivered the feature address at the graduation ceremony.
Teachers are the sinews of the country's education system. Teachers hold the key to realizing a world-class education system in which every child will have the opportunity to be educated at 4 levels: nursery, primary, secondary, and university, at state expense.
Indicative of his vision and commitment to teacher education and education as a whole, His Excellency also reminded that the decade of development in which education will be accorded the highest priority begins on January 1, 2020.
Teacher training has been improved with the establishment of our training centers at Anna Regina, at Bartik, at Paramakatoy, at Maracaibo, at St. Louis. And these centers will help to boost teacher training, particularly in the hinterland and remote rural areas.
Minister of Education, the Honorable Dr. Nicolette Henry, delivered a strong charge to the new graduates to mold Guyana's minds well.
Education is undoubtedly one of the most important factors that impact the growth and development of the human race.
Teachers have been on the receiving end of the government support since the coalition government took office in 2015, ranging from teacher training to increased stipends, allowances, and multi-million-dollar facility upgrades at the CPCE. Teachers in training have received tremendous support because of the value placed on education in the last 4 years.
We have to continually develop new strategies to deliver 21st century education, investing in people, communities, and education to ensure that all of the people of this country can have access to the best education and opportunities so that they can prosper, prepare, and participate in a resilient Guyana.
Of the 377 graduates, 82 will move on to teach at the early childhood level, 125 at the primary level, while 170 are now secondary trained. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
A statement from the United States Embassy in Guyana clarified that comments reported by Guyana's online and print dailies were written by Professor Ellis last April before his employment with the U.S. State Department and in no way reflect an official position. It stated that the outcome of the election is for the people of Guyana to decide. In this regard, the only interest of the United States is in free, fair, and peaceful elections on March 2. The U.S. Embassy in Guyana says it regrets any misunderstanding caused by Professor Ellis's dated comments. Already dubbed one of the fastest growing economies in the world, Guyana is on the cusp of transformative development. With this in mind, Prime Minister the Honorable Moses Nagamutu has called on Guyanese to hold their government accountable.
Speaking at a community engagement at Anna Regina on the Escobar Coast on Sunday, Prime Minister Nagamutu highlighted the importance of integrity, especially for those who hold high offices. He pointed out to those gathered that it was under the coalition government that the Integrity Commission was resuscitated.
We must insist on high integrity. Under our watch, it was this government, the APNU-AFC government, that brought back the Integrity Commission and strengthened the integrity law, recompose it so that those persons in public office, particularly the elected officials, must declare their assets.
In underscoring the importance of transparency and accountability, the Prime Minister said that public officials must declare their assets as required by law.
We must know how recently they have acquired monies and properties. We must know because it is the people's money eventually that we seek to protect from those who would plunder because they hold strategic offices.
In Guyana, through the Integrity Commission Act, which was assented to on September 24, 1997, a close watch is kept on persons in public office to secure their integrity and guard against mismanagement.
So we want to know also that the people who are going to hold office, that they have integrity, that they're not going to put their hands in the cookie jar. So our contribution in government must be the contribution as models for the Guyanese people, that we can, as Nigel has said just now, manage the resources of the state for the benefit of our people.
Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Ubraj Narayan was on Wednesday unanimously re-elected as mayor of Georgetown, while Alfred Mentor was re-elected as deputy mayor, following the mayoral elections held at City Hall.
The duo's re-election received the full support of councillors on the government side. 22 councillors voted in favor of the re-election. The new mayor promised to continue the exemplary work started by the council when he was first elected in November of 2018.
I urge us all to work together for smooth flowing of 2020. Have more understanding, communication, and dedication for great good and dedication, and serve our people of this great city we all call Georgetown.
He called on councillors to bury the hatchet, extend forgiveness, and move forward with a clean heart for the good of the city. Deputy Mayor Alfred Mentor said he was elated to serve again.
It clearly shows that myself, or the mayor and myself, has been doing something wonderful here at the council in order for us to repose the confidence in us here to continue for 2020.
The council also elected a 7-member finance committee, which included Councillor Oscar Clark as chair and Councillor Ivla Henry as vice chair. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
As part of its constitutional reform efforts, the government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, has begun a nationwide exercise to educate Guyanese about the Constitution.
Headed by Coordinator of the Department of Governance at the Office of the Prime Minister, Tamara Khan, the exercise was taken to Region 2, first at Walkabout Secondary and then to Abram Zool Secondary.
It is felt by the Honorable Prime Minister and the Government of Guyana that the Constitution of Guyana is a document that is relevant to every citizen. And so we have to start a process of education on the document.
Khan explained aspects of the Constitution to students and teachers separately. She focused also on human rights laws, sharing with them key pieces of the legislation they should be familiar with.
It's thick and it can be very, the wording can be very technical. And so one of the processes of constitutional reform may well seek to simplify the language so that everyone can handle the document with ownership and comfort, right? So I'm here to start that engagement with you.
Both students and teachers expressed their gratitude for the session.
She shared a little bit of the rights of an individual.
I feel very good and that because I never known about my rights as an individual for myself. And I feel excited to learn about it.
I learned a lot about the Constitution and about the rights of citizens and countries, etc. The session that happened today was quite encouraging. I think that person should really consider what was taught.
Next step forward is that we will propagate it. We will share it among people here in Wakapaul so that they can be aware of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
Similar exercises have begun in indigenous communities. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Government to bill contractor conducting the Sheriff Mandela Road expansion project for road safety works undertaken during suspension period.
Whatever money we input, we will recoup from the contractor. So we meet them next week and finalize that, and so that we can continue.
That was Minister of Public Infrastructure, the Honorable David Patterson. He was speaking on the DPI program one-on-one. Just last month, the Inter-American Development Bank suspended disbursement of monies to the Sheriff Mandela Road expansion project, citing failure of the contractor to comply with health, safety, and traffic management requirements. Minister Patterson said the government had approached the financial institution last year to raise concerns about the contractor.
We would have written to the IDB in 2018 after expressing our concerns about the quality of the contractor, expressing to them that, listen to me, that we don't think this contractor has taken his job seriously, that we had recommended that since 2018 that we would let us cease the contract because they barely started the first work.
The contractor took more than 3 months to mobilize. Nevertheless, the IDB urged government to increase oversight to ensure compliance by the contractor. The $6.4 billion project involves the rehabilitation of pavements, construction of bridges, culverts, and a pedestrian overhead walkway at North Rumveldt, along with traffic and drainage upgrades. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
As government continues with efforts to ensure workers' rights are respected, Minister of Social Protection, the Honorable Amna Ali, made it clear that companies that continue to underpay their employees will be taken to court.
Minister Ali, who was speaking on the DPI program one-on-one, noted that in many instances, agencies are being paid their fees, and by law the employees must benefit from these earnings.
Let me give you an example. The Ministry of Education contracts security services. The government will give the Ministry of Education the monies for the security service, and the Ministry of Education pays the companies. Now, when you pay the companies, it is expected that it trickles down to the workers because they are receiving the monies. We find that some security services, they do not trickle down that wage to the ordinary workers.
Minister Ali said government will not sit idly by and allow employees to punish at the hands of their employers.
We are taking that very seriously. As a matter of fact, at the moment, a few of the companies are being investigated, and we intend they have to pay the people their money, or we will take them to court and we will blacklist them so that they will not be given contracts for those purposes.
The Social Protection Ministry has implemented several other methods which aim to reduce the unlawful act.
We have been having seminars with them. We have been doing a lot of visitations, inspecting their books, investigating complaints, and bringing them in line to comply with the rules. But like I said, some adhere while some give a deaf ear to it. But we have had improvements in that respect.
For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
The public service on Thursday welcomed 56 newly trained cadets from the Bertram Collins College of the Public Service as the college held its third annual graduation ceremony.
Described as the new visionaries of the public service, the graduates will form part of the revamped public service. A product of the vision of His Excellency President David Granger, the school exposes the students to a wide variety of subjects and training to create well-rounded leaders. Minister of the Public Service Honorable Tabitha Sarabo-Halley, delivering the charge to the graduates, urged them to continue to be the change agents they are meant to be.
What you have in you is what is needed in the public service.
The college is an institution created to transform the public service to provide the highest quality of service to Guyanese. Minister Halley added that these newly installed public servants must take their responsibilities seriously.
I would like to urge you not to be daunted by what you may or may not see, what you think may or may not exist in the public service. As the visionaries, as I would like to call you, your role is a bit different. Your role is to see what exists and take advantage of the opportunities that may be available to you to see how you can make those things that exist, if they're not working, work in the best interest of the entire country.
The former cadets benefited from 6 months of academic work in a wide range of subjects from qualified lecturers. They also participated in 2 months of a study tour to several regions to better understand cultures and, most notably, 4 months of work attachment at the government ministry or agency. Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Annette Ferguson, clarified recently that a coalition government has developed, allocated, and made more lands available to Guyanese during its 4 years in office.
In an effort to address the backlog of house lots, which is in excess of 50,000, Minister Ferguson, during a press conference, said the Housing Department has been visiting regions and allocating lands where available, namely Regions 1, 2, 5, and 6. The exercise, she noted, has been fruitful since there are applications which date back to the early 1990s.
The new process encourages and allows for persons to stay within their means. We have not imposed on anyone. That is to say, we make the applicant aware of all possible options available, be it a housing unit or land which falls within their affordability.
The government, Minister Ferguson noted, has spent $2.9 billion on construction and upgrade of roads and $2.7 billion on the provision of electricity, with an approximate cost of $16 million expended for the development of infrastructure in housing areas. According to the minister, while the previous administration was in office, they failed to develop and allocate house lots, and in some cases deceived many Guyanese who were desperate to become homeowners.
Of the total amount of house lots which the previous administration boasts about developing, there was no provision for infrastructure for some 28,000, which amounts to more than half of the total. About half of the house lots developed by Mr. Jaglio's PPP did not have any infrastructure. There are people who paid large sums of monies in full for lands they could not even see.
The minister said that under the coalition government, persons who have been awaiting allocation in areas such as Cummins Lodge, Sturdeville, and sections of Covent Gardens for years were provided with their lots. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
2 new steel pans were delivered on Friday to the West Demerara Secondary School. This follows a commitment made by the Minister of Natural Resources, the Honorable Raphael Trotman, during a community meeting hosted at the school in August.
Students of the West Demerara Secondary School's Steel Pan Orchestra playing a rendition of Trinidadian singer Nadia Batson's song So Long for their special guest, the Minister of Natural Resources, the Honorable Raphael Trotman. Minister Trotman visited the school early on Friday morning to deliver 2 new steel pans in fulfillment of a promise he made back in August. As he addressed students and teachers, Minister Trotman took the opportunity to encourage the students to work hard for what they wanted.
Don't give up in what it is you want to achieve. Whether you want to be an engineer, a president, whether you want to open a catering business or a security firm, just consider it and get it done.
He called on them to be mindful of what and to whom they listen to.
Never ever to see yourselves as incapable. Never to let anybody tell you that you're not bright. Don't let anybody say that you can't achieve whatever it is you want to achieve.
Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
The final Uncapped for the year brought another opportunity for local manufacturers to showcase their products and acquire new customers.
Despite the inclement weather on Sunday, many persons converged on the tarmac of the Providence Stadium's parking lot for an opportunity to get great deals and meet with the local enterprises. Exhibitors expressed optimism that the exhibition will do good for their businesses, and even though it's only being held for 1 day, it is beneficial and leaves a great impression on interested patrons.
I think it's a nice exhibition to take part, to showcase our products. Our products has been established, but we still do come out and showcase our products so more people can know about our products.
It's benefiting for the business because we have customers coming from one end to the other end. It's supporting. It's a supporting thing because we're getting exposed to people because I'm from Berbice. I'm coming down here, people know what product I have, they know what I'm making, and it benefits me in that way.
We've been taking part in UNCAP every year. Yes. Yes, of course. We're getting more clientele and building our demands.
The phone don't stop ringing, and I get so much new clientele at the end of this. It really, people are being aware of Dandelion now because my second anniversary just went by the 26th of November, and I can't complain. God, it's been good.
It's been great. You want a very good expo where people get to come and see the persons behind the product, because our products are on Facebook, our products are in supermarkets, so they come to see now. They get to see the person that is doing the work.
Local fashion icon Sonia Noel was also at the expo helping a woman from her network market her products. Noel believes that more persons need to support local business and suggests giving local products as gifts when the need arises, or even sending locally made products to friends and family living overseas as a way of supporting the businesses.
People would actually appreciate these things. So I would really love to tell people out there, support these expos, support these women, find a look on the shelves, because I really would love to see more of the presence on the shelves of even the bigger supermarkets. So if Guyanese can go on the shelves and actually look for these or even request it, that might encourage them more to even carry some of these brands.
Patrons also had the opportunity to win prizes and enjoy a concert featuring local artists. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Honorable Valerie Garrido Lowe, believes that the indigenous fashion industry could be big business in Guyana. She expressed this sentiment as she opened the first of its kind 3-day workshop for indigenous fashion designers.
The call was made by the facilitator of a workshop for indigenous fashion designers, Angela de Montany, supporting indigenous people's empowerment in Guyana. The workshop was conducted by the National Tush House Council with support from the Canadian High Commission in Guyana. While speaking to the gathering, de Montany noted that the hard work put into the craft pieces must be valued.
Protect your art and your designs. Intellectual property rights are vitally important, and as we have learned that there have been some examples of exploitation from other people in regards to that, who may see a different value for what for the work that you do.
She noted that the work has great value and urged the local designers to use sustainable products and pass on their craft. More visibility means less exploitation, and designers, she urged, must present their work in a way that shows their value. Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Valerie Garrido-Low, echoed similar sentiments and highlighted the need to showcase more of the Indigenous genius.
You have garnered a lot of knowledge from this 3-day workshop. Not only in new things and how to enhance what you may have already, but most of all, I think you learned how to market your indigenous designs, your custom-made designs.
The 3-day event concluded with a fashion display featuring 4 Indigenous designers, a display of craft, and a cultural display by the GT Kanaimas. Reporting for InfoHub, Natasha Smith.
This has been InfoHub Recap, which looked at major stories carried from December 7th to 13th. Remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms. Also, do take some time to review the Diaspora Digest and other publications found on our website. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.